order.
Okay, so now we'll go through the
Roll call.
roll. Okay, Bob,
I'm here.
Barbara, Carol? Here. I'm here. No Ann. Janet? Here. No Carol Morissette. No Joyce. Eleanor? Here. Don?
I think I'm here.
Okay. No Julie. Lisa? Here. Okay. Now,
Minutes of the board meeting held November 17th,
you gotta do them one at a time.
2021.
Anybody have any questions, objections? Let's see, we can't vote, so, because we weren't there, so somebody else has to.
I will, seeing as my name's on there.
So you're making the motion
Well, I'll make a
to approve them?
motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay.
All those in favor?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, but we can't vote. Hank? Don't say anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's that one. Next one?
For the January 19th meeting.
And go down.
Yeah.
So, well, we're gonna have to wait on this one. Because it's gotta be any of those that attended, and I'm the only one. So, we'll postpone that till next time. Okay, okay, moving right along.
Okay, so this would be the financials for January. And January was the,
Do you need another?
Thank you.
was the seventh month of the fiscal year. So it's slightly more than halfway through the fiscal year. So from a budgetary perspective, on the far right of the budget sheet, the percent remaining ideally should be at least about 41% or 0.41, okay? No big deal if it's a little bit under, there's usually a good reason for it. And I think what you'll find as we go down is we're mostly tracking very conservatively. So we're going to have probably, barring something unusual by June 30th, we'll probably have some money left, okay? And
By then you'll need it.
yeah, well, maybe, sure. Okay, so under wages, again, the clerk's position, as has been the case since I have been here, has been unfilled. So that's a gray line, at least on the copy, that's fully untouched, so it's all in place. And that can be used in the next 5 months if some sort of need comes up. I would certainly wouldn't want to exhaust it, but it's there, it's budgeted, and if we had a good case for it, I could likely get permission if we needed, but that's all there. The next line is for our shuttle drivers, and half of the wages, again, for the activity portion of Rachel's job, okay? And for January, the expend between drivers' wages and half of activity wages was $1,064. Okay, we have almost 70% of that budget remaining. Okay, and that's largely because the transportation services, as I said, have not come back to the level that we used to have, but we're still budgeting for, and we'll have to see. I would think that there were people who used the shuttle who are no longer here, no longer alive. But as other people age and maybe don't want to drive or need help going out of area, there'll be new clients calling for rides, and we do hear that week to week. Okay, the senior lunch program, even though for the last 2 months we did not have indoor dining West Mass Elder Care made it possible for us to do a small grab-and-go program. They provided the prepared meals, so we were able to continue that for our normal 3 days a week. People would still have to notify us the prior business day before noon, whether they wanted lunch that day. So, and Rachel fulfills that. That's the other half of her job. So that's the $1,237 expended in January. We have 51% of that budget remaining, so we're in good shape there. In outreach, we had wages on our outreach coordinator, Shine Counselor, of $1,104. We also had income of $1,682, okay? Part of that is income from our federal Older Americans Care Grant through West Mass Elder Care, which I structured much the way Chloe had right now, towards our outreach workers' wages. It's a supplement because the outreach worker gets very busy and the budget that we start with really wouldn't be enough. So it's nice to have that grant. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we have 38% remaining, okay, as opposed to 41, which I said would be kind of the benchmark, but that's because we came out of a very busy Shine open enrollment for 6 weeks. And what it means is going forward, the grant we get is a federal grant, so it runs October 1 through September 3rd, the next September 30th. So even though I have 38% remaining, I have grant funds that we're able every month to submit an invoice to reimburse for the prior month. And so things are okay. I'm not concerned about that at all.
Can I ask how busy the fuel assistance program has been for Diane?
It's been pretty busy. I would say there are many eligible people in town, meaning seniors,
Right.
who maybe never considered applying before and have come forward to do it. The concern there for many people, and it's nothing new, is how slow community action is up in Greenfield to process. Maybe they're having reorganization changes during COVID. It's a lot of paperwork. I'm sure they're getting more applications than the prior year due to hardship. And it's hard to reach someone on the phone there. And so what you do is I land up giving people the instructions for the number to call and the telephone prompts, so that you can in an automated system, you either put in the last 4 of your social or some sort of client ID if you've already been in their system, and it tells you automated. We have looked up your client record. We have your application. It has not been decided upon yet, or we have your application and you have been approved to receive $1,000 for this heating season. Your letter will be received in the next 3 or 4 weeks announcing this to you, but you may go ahead and avail yourself of the benefit by calling your oil vendor.
They make it so hard though for the elderly trying to get through.
Well,
Yeah.
fuel assistance, but just the whole Medicare. I mean, when I listen to what Diane Morgan has to work through
God
for
bless
people,
her.
I shudder to think of turning 65, and
No kidding.
no one can count on that they're going to
Right.
have.
Young
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
Kids, yes.
But thank God for Diane Morgan.
No, I know.
She's
Oh,
been
my
in it
goodness.
for so
I
long.
believe it.
I mean, she can walk through and you go, wow.
And she's got the connections.
Well, because she was in it for so long,
Yes.
which is a big help for us here in town.
Well,
Oh,
and I do have some happy news on that
Yeah.
front. So we've been talking about how one of the tasks I would have to take care of while I'm here in the upcoming future was to post for her position. And then to find a candidate that would overlap with her and mentor under her. And that the goal would be to get them up and running by the summer so Diane could have a normal summer, some time to herself. And then I budgeted to bring her back for the next open enrollment to help. Okay. Well, it gets better than that.
Yeah,
She's decided
yeah.
that she's not ready. to retire.
Oh, very good.
She says it's good for her.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good
Yep.
structure, and I said, look, we can work with, to give you the flexibility that you need when you need time off, but I definitely did a happy dance knowing
Oh,
that not only throughout the rest of the year, but particularly for the next open enrollment cycle.
Well, that's
got
why
a real
her
pro.
step is a little quick when I saw her.
So
That's great.
it's a postponement
Yeah.
of an eventual replacement and job search and training of someone, but it's good news for Granby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
Excellent.
Well, very good.
Okay, so moving on to town accounts, office supplies, we have about 77% remaining. We had no expenditures in that account for the month of January. Nothing in postage that month. We have 100% remaining, and that's because when we replenish postage for our newsletter, we go foremost to the bottom of the page to the formula grant for that. Now, the formula grant at the bottom on that second to left column, the values are italicized. Those were tentative based on the allocation and the amount that we got last year. This morning I opened my email and I have the link. They finally released the fiscal year 22, the state, which means it ends in June. We're finally getting our fiscal year 22 formula grant money. I just have to download the paperwork, sign it, and send it in.
Wow.
So that's why we're allowed to post to these categories, because it's a given that we'll get it,
Right.
but it's just a question of when the funds become available
Yeah.
in your account, okay? So that's why our own budgeted postage account we haven't touched, okay? Repair and maintenance of vehicles, $96 of income, that would be van fares. And then the expenses were on the blue van, we had an oil change and a tire rotation for $66, okay? And because we take in some fares and we have pretty moderate repair thus far, knock wood, we are running at 131% of our budgeted amount. So we have a little more money than we were budgeted to begin with, okay? Which is nice. Repair and maintenance of office equipment, we have had no needs, so it's all there. Miles, meals, meetings, dues. This one is down to 24% of a small initial allotment of $400. This is, we had no out expenses for that in January, but this is where we pay things like our Massachusetts Council on Aging membership subscription, things like that. Okay? Domain registration is a small bill, again to the MCOA, run by the state. It's a nonprofit for our website domain that is through the Massachusetts Councils on Aging. And printing, again, no expenses in January there, and we have almost all of our initial budget still intact. Okay?
Does that include the newsletter?
Yes, that's right. Well, what we do in printing is we purchase the printed envelopes that they mail out in. It also includes letterhead, which I didn't buy letterhead till the close of the last fiscal year because we had a little money left and I wanted to make sure, but we hardly use that. That's for official business or letters that we do write out to the community, and you need, 1,000 sheets of it.
Okay. Right.
Donation accounts, you can see we had some nice income in January. Some of it were very large, generous donations, and the individual told us they wanted it to spread over a few accounts. So when they go fuel funds,
Yep.
our senior fuel fund has more available in it, clearly, than our non-senior fuel fund. So when they don't specify, I've been putting a little money into the non-senior fuel fund. But we've had some activity, but not a lot. Those who have needs.
Surprise.
Well, we have, with what?
with the way things are going.
Well, the cost of oil, heating oil has gone quite high.
You're right.
Obviously, I'm hoping that by the time spring emerges, we haven't hit $4 a gallon, okay?
Yeah.
But if you
Good luck.
have a quarter of a tank of oil or less,
Yeah,
and particularly if you're not on fuel assistance,
yes.
and you have a need, you can call us.
Really.
But those are the terms, okay?
That's a good
And most
thing,
people
though.
know those terms.
Yeah,
And if they call and tell us that,
yeah.
we abide.
Oh,
But if they don't have that, we ask them to wait till they have a bigger need. We don't top off,
Yeah,
okay?
that's okay, but we're there for those.
And right now, there's also the Lions Club Groundhog Day Fuel Fund.
Oh, yes.
So it's a 6-week application process, and they have similar types of terms. You should be quarter of a tank or lower,
Yeah,
and precedence goes to people who don't have access to fuel assistance. They didn't qualify for fuel assistance. It doesn't mean if you have fuel assistance and you run through it, that you can, but
Right.
that's up to your discretion,
yeah,
okay?
super.
So the general gift, we took in $830, $60 of 35 cents was for decorations that we had bought for a January event that couldn't happen, but we will have that event in the months forward, okay? So there was very little outlay in January because we were largely closed. We were open by appointment, we had staff here, but there were no planned social events or exercise classes and things like that. The food pantry fund took income of $500, and I did a meat shop for the freezer of $86.63, okay? Because we largely don't get meat donations. We get a lot of other dry good donations, but we have ample money. I can go and routinely make sure that there's enough so that when people come in for food pantry, they have something to select from the freezer.
Does the food pantry serve younger and
It does. We do have an under 65 enrollment. It's very small. And to tell you the truth, I will do it again. Back in, I think it was August or September, I reached out to Judy DeLong up at the school for Granby to go, and I gave them the invitation. I want you to send me 10 of your neediest families to enroll. And they said, okay, once we get through the process of figuring out who's the neediest. So I've had no response to that, but we have the ability to serve more people in the food pantry. And I'd like that to happen because
Right.
we can't manage the inventory. We're going through and sorting. We're sending things to Lorraine's Kitchen because they have a bigger need. And part of that is because every month with Brown Bag, the food bank sends us additional cases of food more than we need. And they don't understand how small our food pantry is and how quickly we draw down on it. So every month when the mobile food van comes from Neighbors Helping Neighbors, I let her have choice pick. I let Mary Lou, I said, do you need any of this? Take what you need. She said, I don't need that, but I'll take this and that, okay? I do the same for Judy DeLong at Granby to Go. When they were here in January, she said, I can't take any of these canned goods. I got a lot myself. So the goal is how not to let food go to waste and where can you get it?
But it's going.
We are.
People.
Dawn will make calls and we will load the van up and she will deliver it and they unload it on the other end. So it's heavy stuff. It's, you know?
Yeah, it is.
So,
Been there, done that. Here we go.
Yeah, even unloading the truck for the brown
so I
bags.
would like to see greater use of the food pantry by younger households who have need. But it is an application process.
Yeah.
It's not an arduous one, and we'd love to see it be used.
Now, the school gives you those, or is it Judy from,
Judy at Granby to Go was going to sit and work out the list and then approach those families, and then they would, if they were comfortable with it, it's a simple application, and then they could come here. But if they're getting some of that, and the same items already at Granby to Go, maybe that's the reason, I don't know.
I have a question.
Yeah.
this general gift, did you get a donation from South Hadley?
You mean a household in South Hadley or from the town of South Hadley? Town? No.
No.
Was I supposed to? Were we supposed to?
Yeah, I thought they were given a donation,
Oh, you mean the council, I mean the Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce.
My daughter-in-law is the president.
She had said they were given a donation to.
Recently?
Check on that.
Or maybe it was to the South Hadley Council.
No.
No, it was to
Granby.
Okay, well, the other good news, now that you bring that up, is I got an email 2 days ago from Florence Savings Bank, and once again, they didn't say how much, but we have been selected to receive part of that $100,000 grant, and we received it last year. And so I felt that, and they invited us to the presentation picnic in May, save the date, and I said, thank you. We very much appreciate this support, it's really
They've been
helps.
doing this for
I know.
a while, I thought.
So that's a happy, last year's money we used towards part of our outreach program to try and target households that are unknown to the center who could benefit from outreach services. And then the Thanksgiving Basket Fund, it sits dormant right now. There's no expenditures clearly, and haven't got any monetary donations, but it is only February. Okay? We'll talk about that under old business, okay? And then under the formula grant, you can see we were posting money there first, to spend the gift money first, okay? Now that it's actually going to flow, we can go, phew. So we have 61% left of the allotment that covers half of the activity coordinator's wages. So in January, that would be the $286.50. The only other expenditure was newsletter printing. That's $136.82. That was the RICO lease, because we largely use that. We do small things with that when seniors come in and say, I need a copy of this or scan of that. But mostly it's used to create the inserts for the newsletter, okay? So just about all categories other than newsletter printing, actually we're in good shape. We have above 41% remaining. So things are good. Now, they should be good because in some ways we were idle for January and February, okay? In terms of service metrics, bread delivery over the month of January, 3 fewer. That's really, it's either a function of who's home and who wants what's available that week. It's a crapshoot. Pantry bags for over 65, we had 4 clients, 8 bags. That was 2 clients fewer, 1 bag more. The under 65 group, 1 client, 2 bags. That was down from December by 3 people under 65 and 4 fewer bags taken. Okay. Brown bag 27 came to claim their bags. That was 4 fewer than in December. Grocery delivery was 2 households, 1 fewer than in December. Transportation, 8 trips for medical purposes, down 1 from December. Which means people don't like to do their doctor's appointments in January. And miscellaneous for shopping, bank was 21. Okay, so it's good. It means people are thinking about the shuttle for getting around and doing their other chores. In terms of support services, 21 people served in January. That was down 20 from December. Remember, the first 7 days of December was the wrap-up of open enrollment. And but there's still other deadlines going on where in December then we saw quite a few people. Medical equipment, 2 clients came in, 2 pieces went. That's down from December. We have a full medical equipment closet, so send your friends here. We'll give them 2 pieces for every one they want.
That's a good thing.
It is.
Sometimes
It is. We did say for the March newsletter, which is at the publisher now, no donations needed this month. Okay?
That's all right.
Someone called yesterday and said, do you have a walker? I said, do we have walkers? I'll give you one for each hand. So, it's good. We have a pretty good inventory right now, and it comes in spurts, clearly. And part of it, I think, was elective surgeries were postponed. So as that opens up. But it's a vibrant part of the services here.
One service you might use if you have extras. Have you ever given your extras to Starbucks in Amherst?
No, and I was told the other people to check is the sheriff's office, because sometimes the jail has them. So I'll check with
Starbucks
Starbucks.
in Amherst used to take our extras quite often. And they come back.
Oh, terrific. And I'll do that, because it gets a little hard to move around there. I think we can safely say we may have too much of certain items, so we can shed 2 or 3 of them. So, and then wellness calls, 86, that was up 18 calls from December. Phone calls were 43, was down 83. In January, it was largely me here. Rachel was out sick, recuperating from COVID. Telephone person, so I did the wellness calls. But we also didn't have events that we had to call people, okay? And sand, we had 2 seniors require refills on buckets. That was down from the 12th of December, getting ready for the meeting, okay?
Alrighty.
So, if that's okay with folks, on old business, the only thing I wanted to say is I've made no headway calling caterers about next Thanksgiving. I just can't wrap my head around turkey yet, but I will do that before the next meeting, because I want to. I know Julie Duff had some concerns that we wouldn't be serving.
They wouldn't
Was
give
serving
much.
as many people or giving away as much
I
food.
think it was giving away.
Yeah, they weren't
As much
going to get enough. That's what the problem is.
Oh, exactly.
But there's a big trade-off, again, between not having to cook and receiving a prepared meal. Because on those calls, it was, they'd take it, someone else would be using it, okay, in their family, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I just want to consider the option of turning it into a catered meal. I know there's not leftovers and things like that. If I hear, I want your feedback too, clearly. I did speak to the Friends group in South Hadley, because they have done that now for a couple of years through Something Special Catering, but they also do meals, grab-and-go meals throughout the year during COVID. So I think that the president's name is, I spoke to the woman who's the president of the Friends in South Hadley, and she explained to me all the things that they have done, like they did chowder and rolls from popovers from, I want to say Wilbur's, but it's not Wilbur's, it's, what's,
Smithsonian?
no, well, they've done a meal from Smithsonian, but what's the one at the head of the common in South Hadley? With the patio?
Tailgate?
No, that's the deli.
Oh.
It used to be Fitzwilly's. Yard House.
Yeah.
Yard House was another one, and then they used another caterer in South Hadley for, so they've done like 4 meals. And it's nice, because they just 1 a quarter. But I was curious to understand how their Thanksgiving meal giveaway, because I think in South Hadley for Thanksgiving, it's Neighbors Helping Neighbors that largely did Thanksgiving bag or basket giveaways, but the Council on Aging, through the Friends, did the meal that was catered from Something Special. So individuals paid $8, and the Friends subsidized, I think, another 4 or 5. So it was like a $13 meal.
I think, did one meal come from Something Special?
Yes, the Thanksgiving meal did.
Yeah.
And she said
Does a
that,
good job too.
she said that they had, the president of the South Hadley Friends said that they had about 70 people go for pickup, and then they delivered, I don't know how many more to people who don't drive. So there's a lot of things to weigh, but I will make a decision soon, because if we decide just stay with what we have as a system. I need to start publicizing, as of April, in the newsletter, the collection of various things every month, okay? And I'm not worried about it, that's April, if that's what we will do, because we have budget, we can just go shop, you know, in late October before there's a run on gravy and things like that. And this year, we got some good support through, I think it was Judy DeLong went up to the West Mass Food Bank. And she got me cases of additional things that I was still short on, and I couldn't get in the grocery store because stocking is an issue in the grocery store these days, okay? So that's where Thanksgiving is sitting. I will make that a priority before the next meeting to start making some calls and some soul searching. And if you guys want to send me an email about your feedback saying you think it's a terrible idea, I will invite it, you know.
If I could interrupt something, when I was at the South Valley Council on Aging for about, I can sympathize with you over the Thanksgiving basket organization and baloney. It was turned out to be, and we did it that way for probably 15 years.
Yeah.
Had the food donated and had people put it all on the stage in the morning before people came and sorted it, and we packed bags and we had everybody numbered and the deliveries and
But just
satisfying the right turkey size. Anyway,
It's
it was, but we came up with something that worked the last couple of years I was there, and it was that we gave gift certificates. We solicited gift money. We sent out need letters to businesses, organizations, churches, everybody, and said, we're changing our plans. We feel that giving a food gift certificate to a person allows them to go to the grocery store and buy what they need. And in that way, they get what they will probably best cook and use. And it worked absolutely beautifully. We had a second option though, and we could do it in South Hadley. I don't know if it could work here with National Grid, but we had a program called Lights On, and it's still going on in South Hadley because it's a town department. Because
you had the
we
municipal.
worked very closely with shut-offs and all of that. That was before the moratorium of shut-offs. But anyway, we had Lights On, and we had people donate to Lights On, to the fund. And so when we called them and said, would you like a Christmas gift certificate, or would you like a Lights On gift certificate?
What'd you build?
Lots of them took the Lights On. Well, and everybody has an electric light bill, so that was
Well, here's the glitch on that one. It's a great idea. Without pre-moratorium, it was a great idea. As you probably may not know, is that last cycle, Community Action had so much money injected into them from the federal government that after the heating season was over last April, they got another infusion from the White House. And people typically got an extra $1,000 benefit, and it was posted onto their electric accounts. So people who've largely been in arrears suddenly had credits, okay?
wow.
And the maximum benefit was $1,000. And I know several people who got them, because I've been helping them try to get their backlog of balances paid through an arrearage maintenance program.
Oh, that is wonderful.
So I think contextually, it might not have as a great option, but on the food gift certificate, is that gift certificates to the Big Y?
We gave gift certificate, they got their choice. Big Y, Stop and Shop,
Okay,
or Price Break.
good.
A lot of them wanted Price Break.
I know that, I get it.
And we gave the stores big heads up. What we did was we sent a letter to everybody we could think of and saying, we're changing, we would like donations so that we can buy the gift certificates. We didn't,
Yeah.
we preferred that they didn't buy the gift
Yes,
certificates.
understood.
However, the Chamber of Commerce of South Hadley and Granby, the last year I left, gave $1,000 for the gift certificates.
Nice.
And like the Center Congregational Church made their cookie fund the
Go for it.
benefit of our gift certificates, which was wonderful.
So tell me, Eleanor, how large was a typical gift certificate?
We asked for 25 for a one or two person household, and we gave a $50 one to a household that was more than 25. I mean, more than two people.
Yeah.
50, did you say? 50? Okay.
Yeah, 25 and 50.
And how many years did you do that?
It was 2 years that I was
On the
there, and it's
transition.
continued.
Okay, and that's the format?
Kind of,
I like that.
I think it's the format. But one of the things we did, we scrutinized who was on the Christmas, because when we were doing baskets, we were doing like 110, and maybe 70 of them were for elders, but I did a lot of fuel assistance, so I knew who was
You
there.
know who-
Yeah.
But probably 30 names of young people, and that
Correct, yeah.
came from the school and the Board of Health.
Okay,
Now, we scrutinized the whole list of who,
needed.
Yeah.
and there are a lot of takers,
I know.
we all know that. Anyway, but not saying anything against elder housing people, we eliminated the elder housing people. Because, you know what, their life isn't too tough. They haven't got to worry about paying a mortgage or homeowners or taxes or anything. They've moved, they're settled, they're getting benefits for work, for a reasonable rent. So we said, in all fairness to elders in the community, we only went with elders in the community.
Got it.
And for younger people, we didn't go with people in subsidized housing.
Okay, that's fair. If you're going to do it to the elder in
Well, it made it
assisted-
even, it
yes,
made it
even.
fair to both groups that were getting cut out. And
And how did that change? So that's 70 of your 70/30?
probably,
Is that after you scrutinized or
probably
before?
cut back to 70
Total.
total.
Interesting.
But we still had to raise all that fund.
I know that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was quite a bit of managing money at that, of getting it organized. And I had a blessing for several years. I had a working situation with Elms College, and I had girls who needed to spend social work experience time come to my office. And that was one of the projects I gave them,
Interesting.
was having them, really find out who in the community
Had need.
Yeah.
and choosing.
Yeah. It's a
That's a
delicate
good
process.
It is, it's very delicate, and we really got down to a numbering thing,
Okay.
so that, because when we were doing the Christmas baskets, we didn't want high school kids knowing who other high school kids
Yeah,
were
that makes
getting.
sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the numbering thing really kind of worked out really good. But anyway, what we did was we called people, asked them what they would like for a gift certificate, and sometimes they would say no, but most of the time everybody welcomed what they were getting, and
Yeah, they could buy a steak or something if they don't.
well, that's right.
I know a lot of
Well,
places
or
now
they
are.
said like prescriptions. They could go to Big Y and get their
That's another thing.
prescriptions,
Right.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
and I thought it turned out to be a real win-win
Okay.
situation. Not to say that we wouldn't like to all drive up and get a nice meal.
But-
Well, now there's three choices. There's what they've been getting,
Yeah.
which, like the brown bag, I'm sure there's plenty in the Thanksgiving bag that people say,
Yeah.
I want fresh on those items, but I'll use this and this, so it's okay. So there's the bag, there's a catered meal, and there's the model that you have now
I
in
think
South Hadley,
That
Council on Aging.
that would be really, to give them a bag of peas, carrots, stuffing, maybe they'll, but it's, Miss,
Okay, thank you. I'll consider that. That's a very interesting model.
it works.
Makes sense, too.
And you won't have to go haul all those pounds of frozen turkey.
That's all right, you can get them.
I did solve the frozen turkey thing. I called Arnold and said, send me 50, 12-pound ones and deliver them.
Yeah.
That was,
They delivered to the people or the council?
so they delivered to the town and we gave them up.
Okay.
They delivered them that day.
Yep.
You hope to hell the truck arrives. But it really, I think it worked on all avenues, both to staff and for the community and for the people giving. Then we did another thing that worked well too. We had like an Adoptive Family thing, and people like, say, the Lions or the Lodge or Honda Finance, they said they would like to adopt a family, and then we'd put them in touch with that family, and and there were quite a few elders that were adopted.
For what, holiday meals or year-round or what?
Call them up and say, someone is going to adopt you, and what would you really like for Christmas?
I see.
And one lady said, 4 small cooking pans, I burnt all mine out. That was what she would like.
Yeah.
And another lady said, I'd like a ski jacket, a lightweight ski jacket. Well, something,
Yeah.
so, anyway,
All right, good, thank you.
that was just my overflowing thoughts.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let's move on to new business because we have about 10 minutes left. Basically, center operations, we're slated that March will look normal. We're going to start
Really?
sitting down for lunches again, still the 3 days a week. We're in need of lunchroom volunteers. Even for the 3 days, and if we ever get to 5 days, we definitely will need more lunchroom volunteers.
First days?
Right now, the days are Monday, Thursday, Friday. We're okay for Thursday, we're okay for Friday, but Barbara is our Monday person. She's going to be out because she's having eye surgery today. So, hush child.
Ah, okay.
Okay?
So you need Mondays?
Mondays, yeah. The good news is, well, actually, no, Mondays gets busy because it means the card players will come back.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, we will need volunteers. So, March should look normal, and we're doing a warm-up to March. By next week, we've invited the resumption of Healthy Bones and Balance
Oh, good.
and Easy Country Fitness. Easy Country Fitness will not start next Friday, though. The instructor wanted 1 more week. So we have Thursday, and we have chair yoga next week, Wednesday and Thursday. Chair yoga and Healthy Bones and Balance. The next Monday is President's Day, otherwise we'd have a class, but we'll have Thursday and Friday that week. That takes us to the end of February, pretty much, okay? So they know they're coming in, they'll wear masks, they're itching to exercise, so that's fine, okay?
That's great to hear.
The newsletter will be stuffed on next Wednesday, the 23rd, after 11 a.m., after the chair yoga class lets out. It's going to the post office the next day.
What day?
The 23rd, Wednesday, the 23rd, after 11 a.m.
Janet, remind me, because I keep forgetting.
Because it's a short month, we want it in the mail. Okay?
Yep.
We have things queued up right on March 1.
Check my appointment book here.
Okay?
Yeah,
Appointments
that's
like
the
that.
other problem with the appointment.
Okay, quickly, I'm just going to say, I'm throwing out the date. I was invited to the Friends meeting last week of Tuesday. Volunteer Appreciation Dinner, which I was schooled on. I've set a date of May the 19th. It's a Thursday. I think the time will be something like 5 to 7 in the format of the prior invitations I've seen. I have done nothing more than that. I will start calling caterers and putting together an invite list. I've even been given the catalog from which I'm to pick raffle prizes, party favors, things like that.
And what day
And the
is it?
Friends will help. It's Thursday, May the 19th. And what I'm thinking is, weather permitting, although I don't think the tent can do it because it's the afternoon and the tent would have to stay up overnight, I wanted to get a little bit of music outside for the first hour or 45 minutes with hors d'oeuvres to keep people outdoors if it's nice, and then come in for a catered meal. Okay? But hopefully by May, we'll feel, we'll know whether we're in a safer time and continue to improve, okay? The last thing I want to talk about on new business is that the Friends came to me and said, come to the meeting and tell us something you would like us to help with. And we said, oh, okay. So with a couple days' notice, Rachel came up with this opportunity that the Mass Council on Aging has done every year for many years. It's called Walk Massachusetts Challenge. I don't know if any of you know about it, but starting from May 1 through the end of October, you engage people in your community, preferably elders, but they've now added a new dimension, is if the elder would like to help the community, but they can't do the walking, they could get a younger person to walk for them, a family member, a neighbor, who basically is sponsoring the elder. And it's not for money. It's a commitment to get out and walk, either for a certain amount of time or duration, or distance. And it doesn't even have to be outside. You could walk around your living room, or you could walk steps, or you could walk at the mall, you could walk around Finn's Hill, or you could walk at Dufresne. We would have to come up with some suggested safe venues that are good for footing and no one's going to get hurt. We've never done it before. And what happens is you sign people up for it. They get points. They track how much they're walking weekly. And we could help. It's a computer system. If some could do it on their own at home, otherwise call us and we'll keep your tracking. And you win raffle entries for gift cards, Visa gift cards, Amazon gift cards, other types of gift cards. And the COA that you belong to in your town can win cash benefit, depending on how you set your goals and whether you attain them. And we threw it out because we think it's a good way to maybe get people thinking a little bit more about movement, and especially over that 6-month span. You can decide whether you want to avoid the mosquitoes and front-load it in May and the beginning of June. We tried last fall to start a walking group over at the trails in Hadley, at the Silvio Conti area. But there was West Nile virus, and I imagine there may be again this year, so that month may curtail when people walk if they're walking out of doors. The way we would use the Friends is that there's usually, they recommend a kickoff event. So May 1st, I believe, is, I think it's a Monday. So we would have to have the kickoff event either on the Monday or on a Saturday at Dufresne.
May 2nd is a Monday.
So the 1st is a Sunday. So maybe we do it on the weekend at Dufresne. The Friends would be involved. We would promote it. There would be refreshments. There might even be a DJ or something like that. Okay? So I put it out to the Friends there to think about it. We've put a feeler in the March newsletter saying, here's what we're thinking. Does this appeal to you? Talk to us about it, because we have to plan for it in the month of April. Okay, so that's the last bit of new business.
I have new business.
Okay.
This is just a question.
Yeah?
The food pantry fund, how can we promote that more? So you, like you said, to get more people involved.
Well, I could, I got to follow up with Judy DeLong at Granby to go and say what's going on at the school community, because we hear all about food insecurity with school-age families. We could get GCAM to take an announcement on there, but I don't know how many young families watch
GCAM.
So a lot of
10 or
people,
15.
they're too proud to do it. That's why I'm saying, you gotta.
It's a confidential
Call us,
process.
yes, exactly,
Yeah.
but you gotta, I think that'd be a good thing to mention
Yeah.
too. That anything is confidential, everything that you tell us is, because I'm sure that the churches have people like that too, but yet they're too proud to say,
Oh, coming forward.
okay, you know what I mean?
So I will follow up with
Just
Granby
something
to
think
go.
about,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah, and maybe G can.
If you need any help, Carol's here.
Yeah, got it?
That's a challenge. This is good.
Yeah. So,
That's it.
That's it?
Yes.
Any other,
Anything else? in it?
senior lunch program is starting up
March 1.
March
March
1.
3rd.
March 3rd.
Okay, the next board meeting will be Wednesday, March 16th. They should be here at 9:30 in the morning. I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Bye.